Welcome to Mom Breaks. This is a new attempt, a new setting. I am here with my husband, Scott. We're in our dining room recording together. So, new setup. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I've been looking forward to bringing in the partner perspective more and wanted to kick it off with Scott, since he's my person and was with me through it all. So for this partner perspective series, we want to understand how partners are detecting and acting on early signs of postpartum psychosis and surface opportunities for earlier and more inclusive and less traumatic care for families navigating postpartum psychosis. So I drafted some questions. Scott's going to help me pressure test them. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so first, can you share your name and a bit about you?
I'm Megan's husband. I'm super supportive of this podcast. I have 2 kids.
What roles or parts of your life are central to who you are?
I mean, husband and father are probably the most central, but I'm also an organizational psychologist, meaning I just try to make work not suck for people, whether that's through coaching or whether that's through delivering a workshop or whether that's through creating some other kind of initiative for people at my workplace. So, but you probably get 3 big ones, but I also like to think I'm a good brother, and that I'm a good son, that all the family relations are important to me.
Yeah. Can you take us back to the year before our postpartum psychosis experience and share what life looked like for you?
I would say, I don't remember a whole lot leading up to it, other than I was working at my first job out of grad school, and I was in the office sometimes, I was at home sometimes.
Wasn't it mostly remote at that point?
It was mostly remote. Eventually, I started going to the office, I think, once a week, maybe twice. But I remember...
But it was fully remote in the city, right? Because we'd moved.
When we weren't there for very long, though, in the city while I was working there.
Yeah. So Scott's first job out of grad school was in Westchester County, which is just north of New York City. And so we moved from Manhattan to Westchester
County
when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
With our second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was we moved on your birthday in January.
Oh, yeah. It was right. Yeah, I think it was the day before. Was it on my birthday proper?
We could go and look.
Anyway, okay.
Right around then.
And so then you had parental leave.
I had parental leave.
When our baby was born in June.
Yeah, when Gemma was born. I remember my work setup was in our bedroom. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment. And because my office was in the bedroom, it meant that during the day, I was on calls and stuff. You would put Gemma down to sleep, and then you didn't have the bed to sleep in. Like, in hindsight, that was a huge problem. And we should have put my office somewhere else right away. But...
Oh, because later we put it in the kitchen. Oh my gosh,
later we put my home office in the kitchen.
Yeah, Scott was
tiny.
Yeah,
but
that was worked. Crazy.
It worked out just fine. I never told any of my coworkers I was sitting in my kitchen in the corner right in front of the stove. But that worked out much better after the
because then we had 2 rooms for kids to nap
and you to do stuff in.
Yeah, but that was tricky to have you. I mean. So as I look back on that first month, my mom had been in town for the birth. And then it was just us because she left, a day or 2 after she was born. And it was a nice, it was a nice month.
It was great. I remember Gemma coming home. I remember they gave us the placenta to bring home. Kind of what do we do with this? We ended up throwing it away. They're really good memories.
I talked about that in the last episode. Placenta, how I had eaten.
I don't think you ate any of it.
No, I did. It was so gross. I did do it a couple times. I remember I would use it berries because it was red and it felt similar, but it's so gross. What were your expectations of that postpartum period?
I mean, it wasn't our first rodeo, so I expected it to be hard, but not what it was. I definitely expected us to be under-rested. I expected us to be in survival mode. I expected family to come out and support, which they did. I would say the one thing that I didn't really anticipate was feeling like with one kid, one of us was always able to take a break. Like, okay, you have the child. I'm gonna go and like have some alone time, walk the dog, or read a book, or work. But once Gemma came along, number two, it was clear that like, okay, one of us is with Jade, the other one's always with Gemma, and then suddenly we both felt like we needed to get revenge on the day after both of them were asleep, or it was just we didn't have enough time to do anything other than that.
We call that when the kids are down and you're like, I'm doing something for me now. Sometimes we stay up later than we should. Okay, so thinking back on that time, so you went back to work and your mom had flown out to be with us. So you were going back to work. Mom Mel was visiting. What were the first changes you noticed that felt unusual or concerning?
I remember you having a really hard time sleeping. Like, really hard time. Like, there were 2 nights in a row leading up to going to the ER where you're like, I didn't sleep at all last night. And to me, I was just, like, in the moment without, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. I just thought, wow, that really sucks. We knew that, like, we're under-rested when kids come, but didn't realize it'd be that bad. One thing that's tricky, I think, is that when you're breastfeeding, like, as the husband, like, I wanted to help out and, like, give bottles and stuff, but it was also, like, you needed to get rid of milk, like breast milk.
So much milk.
So much.
Yeah, I'd oversupply.
So it was one of those things where both of us would be like, I would wake up to, like, do a bottle or something. You'd be like, Scott, I have to let Gemma feed.
I don't even know, Gemma, if we had tried bottles at that point.
Maybe not at that point.
I don't remember.
But it's one of those tricky things where it's like, biology really works agast you in terms of trying to, like, distribute the workload early on with night wakings.
With breastfeeding. Okay. What other subtle shifts?
So yeah, sleep. I remember you and I started going on walks and we'd have mom watch the kids. And those walks were super wacky. We would walk and talk about like it. I feel like I have recorded one of our conversations that you haven't listened to since. I don't know if you want to. I've listened to it once.
We did find this recording. I listened to some of it. There are a few recordings actually, and the longest one is an hour, so I'm not sure what we'll ever do with that. But I pulled a clip, if you're interested, to hear me in my delusional state. If you're not, then you can skip ahead to the 11-minute mark.
I can't make you see the water I'm breathing.
I feel like I've seen the water. I feel like I see the water. I feel like I understand the water.
What's the water?
I understand that there are these invisible things that happen.
No, I'm asking. I'm saying my water. How I've experienced, like this. So to you, I'm wondering.
If I can...
So you have an assumption that because I'm sleep deprived, I'm crazy. I think, maybe.
That's oversimplified. But yeah, we can talk like that.
Oh, okay.
It's oversimplified. And if you want me to de-blur crazy,
yes,
I would say I don't think crazy is a good label because I do not think
what
that
would
you are crazy.
How would you say?
I'd say because you are sleep deprived, you are not thinking at your best.
That's true, but is it complete? Or is it true? I don't know.
So
you're asking me a question and you're not. I'm giving you my thoughts on it. I'll tell you right now. Let's think. Right now, this is what I can answer your question. This is what I think. You're asking me some logic. What right now? What do you think? A plus X is? I don't know. I'm like 1 plus 2. I'm like right now, it's 3.
And I say it's actually 2. Right? Like what? I don't. What are we getting from this example?
You just said 1 plus 2.
You said 1 plus 1, didn't you? Or did you say 1 plus 2?
Are you trying to make me feel crazy?
No, I think that I may be sleep deprived now, and I think that I may be mishearing things. Maybe I'm the one that's not performing at my best because I'm sleep deprived.
I am answering your questions and you're assuming something about me.
So I'm asking, I'm just asking. Okay, so you made this point. 1 + 1, 1 + 2. I don't know which one you said. I'm sleep deprived too. I give there, and I probably misheard it. So let's not like get hung up on that. What's your point?
Could it be that we're both right?
In-
Maybe you
in
are
what
sleep
ways?
deprived.
I am sleep deprived. I know for a fact that I am. I know for a fact that you are.
I'm feeling fine.
And
Okay,
you can feel fine and you can be sleep deprived. Nice.
Okay, I need to go deeper, Scott.
Very circular and so vague and unclear. And I like to think of myself as a pretty curious person.
You were really trying.
As I was trying so hard to understand nothing. But
Because
sure.
so I want to. I have talked a little bit. I had a lot of in my delusions. I was focused on patriarchy and feminism and our religion, so Mormonism that we were raised in. So I had these themes of God and spirituality and gender dynamics, and I thought that I needed to convince Scott to understand what I understood, so that we could both shift to this like era of being angels.
Yeah.
It kind of like developed over the days. But yeah.
So, those conversations were, I mean, in hindsight, a red flag. They were something that I noticed because you were making less and less sense, but it wasn't constant. It was like it would ebb and flow, where we'd have a normal 3 hours and then we'd have like a 1 hour conversation that was really strange. And then we would go back to having a normal 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
So it was kind of tricky because I was like, oh, this is normal, but this conversation's weird. So maybe this is just being underrested or something.
Yeah.
So that was tricky. Another thing that I noticed was your anxiety, I think. Like you seemed more anxious at the time, where part of those conversations, not only were they incoherent, but they were usually also on the tail end of you being really spooked out by something. Like at one point you were really afraid of my mom. I remember when I came back from a walk.
Oh, I was convinced she was
evil or something. I don't know, but you were really spooked out. And then right on the heels of that conversation, gardeners were walking around the complex trimming bushes, and you're like, they're going to come at me with their chainsaw.
I told you that?
Like you told me that after the fact.
Okay, I remember.
But you saw them, and I noticed you get a little excited. Not excited and like, oh, I'm excited, but like your heart rate pumping. You were nervous. You're observably more nervous once you saw them. So there was things like that. You already talk a lot about God and religion and like the Mormon temple.
The Mormon temple, yes.
Yeah.
So the Mormon temple, in the Mormon religion, there are churches that people go to on Sundays. Every Sunday, there's church services. Temples are a place that you go. Some people probably go weekly, but it's a place where you can go for what are called ordinances. And it's where people are married in the Mormon faith. It's where something called baptisms for the dead are done. So one ordinance is baptism, and
you should maybe clarify that like no one's actually baptizing corpses.
No.
Hear that.
It's called by proxy. So living people do family history work and use names of people who have passed and other people have done family history work for. And then these ordinances are performed for people who have passed away. So I had these delusions that we needed to go into Manhattan to the Mormon temple that's at Lincoln Square and die there. That was one. Like go into the celestial room, which is like this holiest part of the temple where it's said to be the most sacred, like closest place that you can be to God. So that's where I thought we needed to go. At one point, it was like, that's the solution. Like, that's where we need to go. We need to go there to like fulfill our duties.
And we would be turned into angels.
And then we would be angels. What did you initially tell yourself was going on?
I didn't tell myself anything was going on until I knew that like we needed to go to the ER,
Okay.
like at the very end.
Hmm.
Like I didn't.
You were just, it's normal.
I think I was just in survival mode. Yeah. I didn't even think about like, oh, what's going on right now. I thought about, okay, like how can I help? Like I was like so close to the trees, I didn't see the woods, and I was like, I just gotta focus on this tree, being Megan, kids, and it wasn't until we were like, yeah, we gotta go. Until I was like, Mom, I think I need help. I think I need to take Megan to the ER. And she was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, props to her. I think if she would have came in guns blazing early on, like, Scott, something's off and you should take your wife to the hospital, I think I would have been like, step off, Mom. Like, who do you think you are? So props to her for like waiting it out and supporting my decision, like letting me make that decision rather than making it for me.
Yeah.
Because I think it could have gone south.
Did she say that she had noticed anything? Like, had she expressed any flags?
No. She hadn't expressed anything to me. Like, before then?
Yeah.
Nope. Like, you know my mom. She's just, like, loving and kind and so
Yeah.
non-judgmental.
She's great, yeah.
Yeah, like, she was there for all of the
Development.
the weird stuff, for lack of a better word. Or, like, I'm sorry for using, like, if that's, like, that's probably not a good thing to say. Like, oh, yeah, it was weird stuff. Like, it was psychotic, right?
No. No, she was a champ. I remember, so at one point, and I haven't really talked about this, so sexuality, that's some survivors talk about that being part of their delusions, and for me, it definitely was. Yeah, I remember thinking that if I could just orgasm, I would be able to sleep. I think that was earlier on. So I was like,
earlier on.
and just not caring that your mom was like literally sleeping on the couch in the next room.
She was sleeping on the height of the couch.
Yeah.
Like the mattress.
I know. All I'm saying is like, my inhibition was gone.
Yeah.
And then at one point I was like, I need to go sit with your mom. And it wasn't like, I'm not going to be sexual with your mom, but like I needed to be with a woman. I wanted to be with a woman.
Spend time.
And I think in my head, it was to be seen. And I woke her up in the middle of the night.
She just talked to me,
and she just talked to me. I don't know how long. It was probably 45 minutes or something. I'm sure she was like half asleep. She was so compassionate about it.
Yeah.
Me waking her up in the middle of the night. So when you did bring up saying, hey, we should go get help, what point did you say, we need urgent support? Like, why did it switch?
So like, I came back from a walk. You came outside and met me. Said, I'm afraid of your mom. Like, WTF, why would you be afraid of my mom? She was like, so.
Which is not normal. Like, I do get along. I love her. Yeah.
And then you seemed like really agitated when you saw the chainsaw or like gardening tools. We went inside and you started saying something like, nothing matters. None of this matters. Like, nothing matters anymore. And then you picked up Jade. And it was like not a normal like cue pickup. It was kind of like, nothing matters. See, look at this. It looked like you were maybe gonna do something. And then you were on the couch though, and I was like, okay. Well, I took Jade, I put her somewhere else. I like grabbed your hand and I said, let's go to the bedroom or something. And I put you in the bedroom. Like I walked you to the bedroom, and then I turned to my mom and I said, Mom, I think I need help. I don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where she confirmed, like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. We are in over our head.
Yeah.
And then after that, things got real wild. With like driving to the hospital.
That was scary.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe your familiarity with mood disorders before this experience?
So, I mean, I did psych for my undergrad. So I took abnormal psych and I loved that class. I didn't learn anything about postpartum psychosis or really like psychosis. I did learn about bipolar, and I knew about borderline personality disorder and a couple of other things. So like things were kind of going through my head leading up to it as like, oh, like I wonder if this is postpartum depression. And is this going to mean like a longer, like is this going to be something that Megan's going to live with? Like this type of manic episode in like the form of bipolar, or just kind of like disruptive spells of borderline personality disorder. Like what's happening here? So like I knew a little bit, but not in detail what was going on.
Yeah. Are you meaning when I was in the hospital, you were like, what does this mean? What's going to happen?
Not
Or like
right,
early?
because Dr. Gupta was really quick to tell me,
Yeah. She gave language.
like, don't sweat it. This
Yeah.
is going to go back to normal.
Okay. So before we're in the hospital, you
Before
were
the
like,
hospital, I was
what?
like, is this permanent? Like, what's going on? This seems
Uh-huh.
like a manic episode. Like, that's
Okay.
where I went. I was like, bipolar, this seems like a manic episode based on what I
Okay.
know.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And then can you describe what it was like trying to get help?
Yeah, I hated them. Like, folks at the hospital sucked right off the bat. But first,
Well, so first we drove to the hospital and I was trying to grab the steering wheel.
first you wouldn't get in the car.
You can swear.
You wouldn't get in the car. I was like, okay, Max, we got to go get in the car. It's my goal of getting you to the ER. So I was lying, I was driving, I was everything. Like, nothing like a malicious way.
You were driving me?
Not in a malicious way, but you'd be like, Scott, we need to go to the temple. I'm like, okay, let's get in the car. Eventually, we'll probably someday go to the temple. Like, and just
So you were like playing, you were like,
I had to play into the
playing
delusions a
into
little
it.
bit, yeah,
Oh,
to get
yeah.
you to move. At first, we were about to get in the car, and right before we got in the car, like I pulled the car up to the apartment. You collapsed on the sidewalk, kind of as like a. My understanding when we debrief this is like when you've collapsed a couple of times during the process,
Yeah.
and that was like, kind of this like crescendo of like, oh my gosh, inspiration, and then the clicks in your mind at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was like big revelatory, like transformation. Now I'm gonna be an angel, and it never happened. So you would try again, and then it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And then we make sense of that now, or if I'm wrong. But you,
I
collapsed
was-
3 times.
I was looking for the solution. I was looking for, I think earlier it was like, how can I sleep? Like, how can I fix this? I'm not able to sleep. How can I find sleep?
Yeah.
And then it transitioned to like, fully, psychotic, where I was like, I don't need to sleep. I just need to figure out how to survive without eating or sleeping or whatever. And so then I was just trying in like totally nonsensical way to understand how I could be an angel.
Yeah. So that happened a few times. You did it right before we got into the car, and I like picked you up, and I was like, okay, like if you want to, I think I probably was like, I probably said something like, you're under rested, you probably need a nap. Like, just lay the seat back. Just like get in the car and let's lay the seat back or something. I don't know what I said, how it happened, but I got you in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I told Mom, I was like, Mom, I'll keep you posted. You got Jade and Gemma. You're in survival mode. Anything's okay. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Yeah.
So then we start driving, and you, at one or 2 points, you like grab the steering wheel
Yeah.
while
Scary.
you were driving, and you're like, we need to go this way, and you tried to jerk it, and
Let me tell you that. So I thought we needed to go drive off the bridge,
off the Tappan Zee,
off
right?
the Tappan Zee bridge.
Yeah.
So that's why I was trying to pull the steering.
It's like, here we go on the Tappan Zee. We couldn't have driven off of it, but okay. That was
So scary. Yeah.
So then we got to the ER, and I ignored all of the signs. I just pulled straight up to like the ER entrance and parked the car there. I was like, if somebody gives me a ticket, I could give 2 shits.
Right.
I need help. I walked inside. Well, you wouldn't come with me, so I had to like coax you into
Oh
the
yeah.
ER.
I remember being like, oh, like secret messages in the whole getting into the lobby and getting in.
It was tricky to get you in there. I walk up to the front desk and I said, I don't know what's happening.
So I was in the car still?
No, you had made
Okay,
it in
okay.
the lobby with me. You're standing next to me.
Okay, yes, I remember that.
And I tell them at the desk that my wife had a baby a month or 2 ago.
A month.
This was
It was
July.
5. Yeah, it was
a month ago.
5 weeks.
Something's going on. I don't know, but I need help. Can you help me? And they said something like, we can't force anything. Like if she wants to go. I don't remember what they said, but what I felt was, we can't help you. And I looked at them like, you suck. And I'm mad at you.
Because I was just standing next to
You
you.
were standing next to me, just kind of like la-di-da. And I kept on, I came to my senses and I started like advocating for myself to get help. And they essentially communicated like, we can't force her back there to get help or anything. She has to go on her own accord. And they probably thought like, look at this jackass husband just like forcing his wife.
Bringing his wife. Yeah.
Because like, and like, it's good of them to do that. You want them to protect women who may be vulnerable.
Right.
However, that's not that. And then it wasn't until you walked up with somebody in the waiting room and you grabbed their arm and you started saying stuff to them that they realized,
Like,
okay, this guy's
she's
serious.
she's not well.
And
Yeah.
she is not well. And a security guard came over. He's like, ma'am, you're going to have to let go of his arm. And then some nurses came out. And at that point, I was like watching, but I felt like a burden was starting to be lifted.
But I had written down my information. I remember
Piece of
writing
paper.
my birthday
Yeah.
because they were like, we need her information.
Yeah.
I don't know why I needed to write it, but
Maybe they just wanted to see how coherent you were. Like, could you write your name and
yeah,
address?
yeah. Because usually you just say it. I feel like maybe not,
I'm not sure.
but it was a piece of paper, and I remember writing, and as I was writing, feeling like there were secret messages.
Well, it was like scratch paper. It wasn't a form.
No,
Yeah.
so maybe that was
I don't
sort
know.
of
Dr. Gupta came out, and she had helped you. You already
my
talked
hand.
about
Yeah,
how she
I'd been
helped
in
you.
the ER like a week and 2 weeks earlier with my hand.
She came in and like he made eye contact with you and started talking to you, and just started like rolling with everything you were saying, and like guided you towards the ER psychiatric spot. And at that point, it was like, a doctor has her. I can't do anything else, and I just cried. Like I
Yeah.
just walking behind you, like trailing in your wake. No, because like I thought I'd lost my best friend. Like I didn't know that it was temporary.
didn't know.
I wasn't sure what was going on. Like, okay, mother of my children, we're just gonna have to like visit her in a psych ward for the rest of forever,
Right.
and she's gonna be like this. So I cried hard for a long time. Like a security guard like put his hand on my shoulder or something, which is like nice, but I was also like, don't touch me. Like it was nice. I was in such a hard spot. It was just nice to have somebody be like, hey, it's okay. I was not in a good headspace, and I was so sad. And then Dr. Gupta came out, and she came to me and she said, okay, you have to stop crying. Snap out of it. And she just gave me some tough love. And that was like really practical. Like I think some people would get up and be like, that's so rude. That's so bad practice. It was exactly what her patient needed, you know? So it snapped me out of dread and my negativity spiral of fear.
Is that where she told you this is postpartum psychosis?
No, she said, snap out of it. You acting this way, she can hear you right now, and that's not going to help her sleep. So stop it. And this is going to go away. She's going to be totally normal in a couple of days. You don't need to worry about this being permanent.
Okay.
So like a combination of like just the, hey, quit it, turn it off type thing, and the reassurance that this is going to be fine.
Yeah, that was a reference to the Book of Mormon play. So she didn't give you language for postpartum psychosis yet.
No, not yet.
But she said this is permanent or this is not permanent. She's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they told me that they gave you like some kind of tranquilizer.
You weren't in the room when they did that?
There's like the room with your bed, and then there's kind of like that public area outside of the rooms. I was in that public area, right outside the door.
Yeah, because I remember like them sticking it into my arm and being in a panic because I was so trusting her.
And then suddenly,
and then it was like, what? You put something in my arm, and then I was out.
And then after, on the tail end of that conversation, there were only two more things that happened. She asked about breastfeeding and like what the habits were for breastfeeding and whatnot. I told her. And then she said, okay, this tranquilizer we just gave her, she's going to have to pump and dump for 24 hours, just so you know. And I was like, okay, you're going to tell her that, right? Because I may not be here when she wakes up. And I, just so we're all on the same page. And then the second thing she said was, go home. Like, what's going on with your kids right now? Do what you got to do. And we'll be in touch. So then I went home. I just, like, put on a face for Jade. Did bedtime. And then once kids were asleep, I told Mom that I was going to go back to the hospital, that she should sleep, whatever. I got to the hospital, and I slept in the car for as long as I could.
Why did you do that?
I just wanted to be close.
Okay.
I didn't want to, like...
Did Dr. Gupta say to come back close? Like, to be there? Or that was just you wanting?
I have no recollection.
Okay.
I just know what I did. I don't remember what I was told to do.
Okay.
And I came back, slept in the car, and then I woke up and went inside for updates and stuff. And then shortly after I came inside, like you had already spoken with the psychiatrist.
It did not go well. The
It did not go
male
well.
psychiatrist where I was like so paranoid.
Okay.
That was the first consult.
God. And then there was a second one before
Yeah.
you saw me again?
I don't remember if you were there.
'Cause
I think you were there for the second one.
Okay, so and this is what happened. I spoke to
She was female. I remember that.
I spoke to a female psychiatrist. She had already gotten an update or something because in my conversation with her, she said, "This is postpartum psychosis. This is what that is." And she was the first one to give me language.
Okay.
And then I came in and I saw you. And then I came in and I talked to you, asked you how you've been feeling and sleeping. And you were still not totally normal,
Right.
Megan.
No, I wasn't.
You were still psychosis,
Yeah.
Megan, a little bit. And that psychiatrist told me that like she was going to talk to you, that should happen like alone without me. I was like, great. And then we like debriefed after that. And they took you from the ER room and put you in like the emergency psych ward room again after
The triage. Wait, the place with the truth seeker. That was scary.
Have you talked about
No,
truth
I
seeker?
haven't.
Oh, you're in for a treat, people listening.
This was like the in between the ER and the psych ward, right? Like we were waiting for a bed or whatever we were waiting for me to sign the form really so that I could go into the inpatient
I
psych ward.
think that they were waiting for you to like wake up and stabilize so that they could have a better diagnosis of what was going on. And then once they knew that, they communicated it to me. Then it was like, okay, we need her to fill out these forms. And
That she needs to have some more time in the psych
she
ward.
needs to go to the
Yeah.
psych. She needs to admit herself, essentially.
Yeah.
And then you could go. But like, it's an emergency room in a hospital. So it wasn't like happening quickly. This stuff probably took, I don't think you were admitted until like 12 or 1. Like it was the afternoon.
And we'd been there the day before, right? The ER that night or whatever.
Yeah, we got to the ER at like 5 or 6 that night.
And
I slept. I woke up probably around 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and we had a conversation with psychiatrists, separate conversations.
I wonder if they were like checking on me because I don't remember. I don't remember what if I woke up and I was like, I don't remember that.
They had to. I mean, it's protocol to check on patients in the ER.
I know.
So they were checking on you, but if you were sleeping, they're like, good, let's just
let her sleep. Yeah. Okay. So Truth Seeker was once it was like, hey, we've decided she should stay and have some inpatient psych ward time. We were put in this place. I don't really understand why, but it was not where we were in the ER. It was like this place we were waiting.
Well, when we first came to the ER, it was that same spot. But like we entered the ER into this triage hallway thing. And then you were moved into a patient room
in the
sleep
ER
and to talk to the psychiatrist.
And then I was moved back there.
And then we were moved back into triage, maybe because they needed the space for like something a little bit more
or it was like I was transitioning out of the ER into the psych ward. Okay.
Like 3 or 4 rooms connected to a hallway, all enclosed in one space that was dedicated as like psychiatric.
So we were in one of the rooms and Scott was trying to convince me to sign the form to go in voluntarily to the psych ward.
It was a super soft sale though, because you were super skeptical. You were like, what should I do? And I was like, well, I mean, deep down, I was like, just sign the form, please. We just need help. But I was like, well, what do you think? And you're like, well, on the one hand this, on the other hand that. I was like, yeah, drugs could be good.
We need help.
Yeah. We're in there having this conversation, and the EMTs bring in this Shrek of a man. Like, I say Shrek, meaning like he's big. He's tall and
he is big.
They take him off the stretcher and leave him there. And we're sitting there with the door wide open. And he's just like walking around in the hallway, and
he's like pacing in the hallway.
He's pacing in like an agitated way, which is kind of scary because he's big, and I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the smallest either. But, anyways,
wait. Okay, so I think we can talk about this. I had also been very sexual in that room.
In that room, you were just horny. You were just aroused.
Yeah. So we had a private moment, and then did this happen? So that happened before he showed up.
Yes.
So then he shows up, and we're trying to sign the form.
I'm distracted because he shows up. He's pacing, and he comes to our doorway, and he goes, "Are you a truth seeker?" And a lot of your delusions were about religion, about truth, about faith. So he said this, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I immediately I'm like, yeah, I think I'm a truth seeker. Like I'm seeking truth. I'm seeking a way to understand and move forward from this. So I like try to go to him.
You try to go to him, and I get in between you.
And in my head, and I had pumped recently, and I had breast milk right there.
Right.
And in my head, I was going to be giving him my breast milk, like he needed my breast milk for some reason, like
To
that.
be healed or something.
Yeah, like
So that wasn't quite it yet. I think what happened, that happened when he was being restrained later.
oh,
So he said, "Are you a truth seeker?" You said yes, and you started this conversation. And I was like, "Help!" I shouted anything.
ah,
And he kept on trying to get into our room. And that's when they came in and they took him.
and then they restrained him to the
away,
ground, and it being
it
like, no,
really upset you.
yeah, I was like, I have to save him.
And you're like, I have to save him. He needs my breast milk. And then I stopped. He does not need your breast milk. He needs help, and you need to stop. And we fought over this bottle of breast milk, and it spilled all over the floor. It went everywhere. And then he was restrained in another room, and we didn't deal with him anymore. But I'm still when
That's
I talk
crazy.
about it, I think about it, I'm still mad at the hospital that best practice is to bring someone in an agitated state, clearly not mentally well, and just drop them there with anyone else who's come in for help. Because if I wasn't there to keep him from getting in the room with you, who knows what could have happened.
I know, like 2 psychotic people.
Yeah, one 250, 300 pounds, one 120
Pound woman.
Yeah,
Who's, very
not okay.
unhinged. Okay, so along those lines, where do you think support could have shown up earlier?
I mean, if we're zooming way out, I think that when you start having care, and I think this is also tricky because people talk about things like self-fulfilling prophecies and things like that. There's
Mhm.
research on self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah.
And when you get pregnant, you and your spouse, you start going to the OB or the midwife or whomever it is.
Mhm.
I think it'd be great to have language and information then about the whole experience that probably won't happen 99% of the time, but then also anything else that could happen during or after labor, right? Just because knowledge is power.
Mhm.
So I wish we would have known that this could have been a thing. I wish it would have been drilled into me that sleep is not just sleep's just hard after you get pregnant. I wish it was no, sleep could be life or death. So, because if it was more serious to me, then we probably wouldn't have had my office in the bedroom, and I think I would have changed some of my behaviors how I approached postpartum.
Yeah, and or when I was I can't sleep, taking it forcing me to take a sleeping pill so I got some night's rest. I don't know if that would have worked,
I
but
think I would have been way more proactive. Not even proactive, but maybe more serious or maybe even forceful. If after that first night of no sleep, I think I would have been okay, I'm taking the day off and you are going to sleep. And if you're no, I'm not tired, I would say, I don't give a shit. Here's a sleeping pill, go and lay down, and here's why. And I might have sounded like a jerk, but you probably would have gotten more sleep.
maybe.
It might have been a necessary evil.
It's tricky because sleeplessness is both kind of early. Is it a trigger or is it a symptom?
And you know more about this than I do, but I think when I think about our experience, sleep was a huge.
It was huge. It was huge. Yeah. Is there anything else from the hospitalization that's worth talking about? I mean, me asking you for you to bring stuff or calling, when I was in the psych ward.
Yeah, I mean, when you were in the psych ward, we spoke probably 2 or 3 times a day. And
Oh, really? That much?
yeah, at least twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember there was a payphone on the wall
Yeah.
that I could use.
Mhm. And I feel it was at first I really loved talking on the phone. And then as I could sense you were starting to get back to baseline psychologically, I kind of dreaded the calls because it was Megan's clearly at baseline and the psychiatrist there and the whole administrative team, they were not helpful in me getting you out. You were getting to baseline, but you're getting stressed about not leaving. So I was working really hard on my end to call the right people to get you out. So when you would call me and I didn't have a clear update, I was dang it, stress her out. I don't have more
What were the signs that I was coming back to baseline?
One of the calls, you're like, hey Scott, I'm starting to understand like what happened, and I'm so sorry.
Okay, I apologize.
I was like, Meg, this is nothing you need to apologize for. This is not your fault. It's nice to hear like your awareness of it not being normal though, because for a while you were talking about this like it was this wonderful
revelation.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things.
Okay.
And then the other things were like your desire to like be with the kids trumped your desire to be translated into heaven.
Yeah. Like realizing like, oh, I want to be as a family. Like I want to be together. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What was the hardest moment for you?
I'd say the most emotional moment for me was like getting to the ER, handing you off to Dr. Gupta. Like that's like I totally broke down.
I remember it when I went to the psych ward too, you crying a lot and feeling really sad too, because I thought this was the end of us seeing each other. Like I thought I was now going to be not on Earth.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I remember I remember being relieved.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, like we're gonna get some real help, some real drugs. So like I remember you being wheeled down one hallway while I was walking out the exit. I was like, all right, love you, bye. And you kind of like shrugged and waved, kind of like, this is the end.
Yeah.
Is in hindsight what that looked like. Another hard thing was just like going home and acting like everything was like totally fine and dandy for Jade. I mean, Gemma was a baby.
She's tiny, yeah.
But Jade was 3.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I took her on a daddy-daughter date the next day. She was like, I just need some Jade time.
And you had taken work off because you had started working a few days after.
I had taken my pat leave. Then you and I decided that we were going to save like a week or two of my pat leave
Why we do
for
that?
Utah or something.
I don't know why we did that.
So I started work again. And then I was like, tap the brakes. We're using these 2 weeks of pat leave right now.
Okay.
Because we can. And we're in the
We need
hospital.
it.
Yeah. So that happened. And that was good. But yeah, I would say like another hard thing was like updating family. I remember the Zoom call that I had with my mom and your mom and all of the Hendersons and Francis's.
This was when I was in the psych ward.
Maybe they were separate. But yeah, you were in the psych ward.
Uh-huh.
And I just like updated everyone. And like some people suggested that like, oh, like maybe this is a sign that you need to be like closer to God or you need to repent of like not going to church or something.
Right. Because our family had already known that we were questioning, right?
Yeah. And like we had stopped attending. They didn't know why. They still don't.
Well, but it was COVID time, so it's unique time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had people who were concerned already and then used the experience to say we needed to repent. And
yeah. I was like, I'm glad you're here making me feel good.
What made you do the Zoom meeting? Like, why did you want to do the Zoom meeting with family?
I think it was just me being like, look, I need support from anyone and everyone. And I want to tell people this one time.
Okay.
I don't want to be texting about this for one end. So like, if you want an update, you join this call. And if you want more updates about it, you talk to the people who are on the call because I'm in survival mode.
You're in it. Yeah.
And I'm not going to be texting you all week. Like in the spirit of like, I'm a big believer in helping people's brains work for them, you know, like not only in the way of like psychological safety, like encouraging openness and bravery, but in the way that people know and have some confidence. So like I wanted to create as much certainty as possible for people so that they weren't telling themselves false stories that were unhelpful to them.
Yeah. Okay. You said I wanted as much support as possible. Can you just speak to the sort of help that you were seeking for yourself?
I think that help showed up in the form of like my mom and your mom being out.
Oh yeah, my mom flew out. Was that after the Zoom meeting?
No, that was prior.
Okay.
No, like I think I texted her, maybe it was a phone call. But
okay, yeah. At what point did you call her?
And maybe that night I was like, hey, Code Red, can you be here to help out? And she came right back.
She flew out like the next day?
I don't know if it was the next day, but it was fairly quick because she was there helping with kids and stuff.
Yeah, she got back out fast. I don't know.
Got really fast.
Yeah.
It was really awesome. After you were back from the hospital and my mom and your mom were there, I did two things to seek help for myself. One was, I remember like the very first day I went to like our local grocery store and I bought a gallon of whole milk and a whole thing of Oreos and some Tupperware
What?
to use
A
as
Tup-
I needed a cup.
But not like, why didn't you buy a plastic cup?
In our plastic. I mean, I could have bought like 100 red like Dixie cups or just like 3 little things of Tupperware that served as cups. So I bought that and then I went and I sat on the tailgate of the Element in the very back of the parking lot all alone. And I just pounded that whole thing of Oreos and milk while talking to my dad. Yeah, that was helpful. Like, I don't think either of us really. I think I told Dad what I was doing, and he laughed, which is good. To, like, bring some levity to the experience.
You're crying. Can you say what you're feeling?
I am really grateful that I have a dad that I can call when I'm having a hard time about anything. It was probably like the hardest thing I've experienced.
Yeah.
That was that.
Mm.
And that we have like moms who came out. It was good to have the support we did during a hard thing. So
I'm so glad that he was there for you to call and
yeah, me too.
that he continues to be that. Someone you can call when you're feeling like you need to just vent or whatever.
Yeah, me too. The other thing I did fairly quickly was like I think I was coming home from Costco. I guess like you were at home, your mom, my mom were there. I was like, I'm just gonna take myself out to Costco to breathe.
I love that grocery stores were the self-care you needed.
It's like I'm just gonna go walk around and buy stuff. That we actually
Honestly, I love Costco. Like Costco is, I feel like we both have kind of like, it's like, okay, wait, I haven't gone in a while. Like I want to go to
I
Costco
know.
this month.
Yeah.
We go once a month.
we don't even like treat ourselves to anything. It's just like
No,
walk
but
around
it's
and
such
get
a treat to
stuff.
be like, okay, I'm buying more almond butter.
It's weird. We're weird. But on the drive home from Costco, I have 3 puppies. And it's the same thing. I'm really grateful that they're there when I need them. And I'm happy that I can be there when they need me or us.
Did you do like a group call on the way back from Costco?
Yeah, I texted them, I think on my way to Costco, and I was like, hey guys, I have a code red. Right? We just got to talk. And I told them if it was cool, then I was going to call them all in like an hour or so. And we just talked. And I started the call being like, look, this is what I need. I just need to like tell you what happened. And I need you to like Megan's okay. Kids are okay. I'm happy to like share more about them. For the next 30 minutes, I just need you to like ask questions about me
Mm-hmm.
and my experience and help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. It's awesome.
I'm so grateful for them too.
Yeah, me too. I think I still do feel this way a little bit. Like I feel like a lot of the experience you having the episode and being hospitalized, I think I still blame myself.
Oh. I've blamed myself too. It's not helpful.
And I think I blame myself a little bit still with the sleep stuff. With yeah, I know you mentioned this in the first episode. But like one night I mentioned like I don't know if I believe in God anymore. And right before we go to bed, I just kind of dropped that bomb, and then I can think about other stuff too. But in that moment, coming back to like what Nate said, he didn't have context. I don't know, like, how
This is one of your friends.
he said something to the effect of, like, Scott, this sounds super hard, and there's so many pieces to it. Like, know that, like, this isn't all your fault. And, like, that was huge in the moment. Because I think I was blaming myself completely. It was just like, look, I failed as a husband, failed as a partner. I couldn't keep my wife safe during postpartum, couldn't support her in the ways that she needed. And it was good to hear that. Again, you didn't even have all the context, and I don't know how accurate it actually was. Like, I think a good portion of it probably was attributed to stuff that I did. Not 100%, but like that God conversation could have waited. I could have helped.
There's no
with-
way
I
we could have
gotten
known.
my office in the kitchen right away. Like, there's, like, in hindsight, there's just stuff that could have happened. So those are the two ways I sought support right away. It was like dad with Oreos and milk,
Costco and besties.
Costco, and my 3 best friends. And then I guess the last thing was actually prompted by your mom. I was driving her to the airport at the end of the trip.
When she had flown back out.
So she was heading home for the second time in a month or so. And we were just talking. And for me, like, this isn't what I'm about to say is reflective of how I operate in relationships, not how your mom operates in relationships. I often end up being the one on the end of a relationship who ends up listening and asking questions and maybe even coaching. And like, it's like I'm not coaching, I'm not like giving therapy or anything, but I often end up on the receiving end in a support mode.
You are a very
I mean, I
thoughtful
studied psychology.
person.
I'm an organizational psychologist. I
Yeah.
think I can,
And coaching is a part of your professional skill
Yeah.
set.
So on this drive, I was listening, I was asking questions, and it was a great conversation. And then towards the end, your mom, she kind of just paused. She's like, Scott, who does this for you? Like, you do this for me, for Megan, for other family members. You're like listening, you're asking good questions, you're helping people. But like, who's helping you? And I paused, and I paused for a long time because I was gonna like cry, but I didn't want to cry in front of her right there in that moment. And once I kind of got it together, I was like, I don't think anyone really does this for me. Granted, like, that's on me. Like, I'm not asking for that from people.
Well,
I'm
but
not
you did.
approaching
You
them.
did with your best friends, right?
I did with my best friend.
And
I
your
guess I
dad a
did
little bit.
mention, I probably mentioned to her that, like, my dad and my best buds did this recently. But that conversation I had with her where she was like, who's doing this for you? And maybe she said, like, regularly or like most often. I didn't have an answer. That prompted me to like go and seek out a therapist to kind of like process the whole experience and get some like glean some learnings and just kind of like move on. And that was really helpful.
Wait, wasn't that, remember your first therapist?
The first therapist was a total douche.
It was not
Or
helpful.
like I showed
It
up.
was
and
so
he was like-
judgmental.
yeah, he told me essentially, he's like, okay, look, we need to make a plan for Megan, which is great. I want to make a plan for Megan. I want to support you. But then he went on to tell me, like, you're a failed husband. You missed the mark, and you couldn't take care of your
Like
wife.
feeding the
essentially.
narratives you're already
Feeding the
needing
negative
to.
self-talk I was already giving myself
Yeah.
that are not 100% true. So that sucked. But the next guy I spoke to,
But you only went to him like 1 or 2 times.
I went to him once, and he was like, "You're my card. Let's schedule the next appointment."
And you were
I took
like,
his card and
"No."
said, "Hell no," threw it away. But the next guy, he's great. He like started the first session just getting to know each other, and he started to come up with a question. He's like, "I don't even know how to start. What happened?" And that's all I needed. I broke down and relived the whole experience and told him all about it.
Yeah.
And had a good 6 sessions with him. And then after the 6 sessions, I was like, I think it's probably wrong to say I think this problem is solved, but I think it's most helpful to go to a therapist. Like, this is the problem I want to solve.
Yeah, and work through it.
And I felt like it was accomplished with him after those 6
Yeah.
sessions.
Is there anything about your experience that really gets talked about and feels important to say out loud?
I would say, for me personally, I'd be curious to know if other partners feel this way. Well, it was hard on my end, but I hesitate to talk about my experience, or I hesitated to talk about it for the longest time like with you and with other people, because it's kind of like if I'm at work after we had a baby and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. And then any coworker is totally justified in saying, you're so tired? How tired's your wife? It's like, you're right. She's probably more tired than me.
Oh, like
Right.
comparative stuff.
Yeah, comparative stuff.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like, this experience, it was hard for me. And you or anyone else is totally justified being like, it's hard for you. Think about how hard it was for your wife. It's like, yeah, you're right. It was hard for her. And that doesn't negate the hardness of anyone else. It can just be hard for everyone and everyone and everyone, you know? So I think I wouldn't be surprised if there were partners who spoke about it very little because they didn't want to steal their spouse's thunder in terms of like a negative experience. So like I remember hesitating to talk about it with you for a long time because I didn't want you to feel like you did this to me. You know, it wasn't your fault. Did you ever feel like I framed anything in a way, not even framed, like did my sharing ever make you think like, wow, I did this to Scott?
Oh, no. I remember you sharing later how when you picked me up from the psych ward, I leaned over to kiss you and you didn't want to, but you kissed me anyway. And I think like you didn't, and maybe that's because you were self-regulating and not expressing your own difficulty, but also maybe I feel like I don't know if it's forever, if, you said in the psych ward when I called and apologized, I feel like I acknowledged that it was hard for you too.
Yes, 100%. I felt very validated on that phone call.
Yeah. So I feel like that's been like not banter, but like we've talked about it. I'm like, no, like you need to, like I was very like, you should go see a therapist. Like,
yeah,
this was really hard. We both need to do therapy.
I feel like you and I have processed this, what I would say in a pretty healthy way, in the way you're talking about. Like we have spoken about it, despite some reservations we've had.
And well, we've talked a lot about the symptom, like the delusions that I had. I feel like we've talked a good amount.
Yeah.
Any other coping strategies that you feel like that we haven't talked about yet?
Nothing else comes to mind. I mean, support's the big, like the umbrella statement. It's going to look different for everyone. For me, support looked like conversations with my dad, my mom, your mom, my boys, and a therapist. I say my boys, I mean like my 3 best friends who I get together with frequently. I imagine for other people's support might look like, it'll probably look different, but as much as support as possible, I think is on the, if you have to err on one end of the spectrum or the other, err on the side of support rather than no support.
Yeah. Okay. How did this experience change you?
Oh, how did it change me? I don't know. I've thought about that question. Like, I feel like so many things happened right around the same time as this, that like any changes that I would say have happened in my life since then or around then, I would maybe attribute to other things than this.
Like not necessarily to the psychosis.
Yeah, like my belief in God wavering.
But that had kind of already
started.
Yeah.
And it has kind of like continued and zigzagged and evolved in a way that I don't really connect to the psychosis. I guess like one thing that I know has happened is that like, I would say the psychosis in terms of like my faith in God probably has not encouraged my faith in God. And it has kind of made evident in how convenient it is for people to cherry pick things to support their own beliefs. For example, we have this psychotic episode and somebody can say, oh, it looks like God could be punishing you. You should maybe repent. But any other family member out there who's going through something hard, but who's also going to church and checking all the boxes, that same family member who says something mean to us would tell that family member either God's testing you, and this is a good thing.
Yeah, this is a trial thing.
They wouldn't say anything.
Uh-huh.
So that social dynamic that came from our experience, I think has helped discourage my belief and continues to kind of question how it currently is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any concrete changes though that I really attribute to this other than I used to be leaving sleep. Like, I'll try and get more sleep now. I try and encourage you to we try to value sleep better as a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reality check there.
Yeah.
Would you say it shaped you as a parent or a partner?
Yes. Whereas, like, I feel like I got a taste of what it could be like to have you just disappear. And it was like so sad. Guys, like, you don't realize how much you love someone. So you don't have, you're just for a couple days. And, like, you going on a trip is different. Like, you going to visiting family or friends, like,
Me being like hospitalized.
you're still a part of my life, but you being in a psych ward, well, it's just really easy to take things for granted. So I think I love and appreciate you so much more because of the experience. That said, I don't think people should sign up for this experience.
Yeah. I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, this idea of like making meaning. And I was talking to Scott about this. I think if you compare a psychotic episode to like a car crash, like the car crash happened and you can have an adaptive response to it that helps you, take good from it, but it's not necessarily a good experience or an all bad experience. Like maybe it triggers good change. I had a Bruce Lee quote on my meditation app this morning. It says, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. And I thought that was relevant.
Super relevant.
Go Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Okay. How have you navigated decisions around subsequent pregnancies?
With you, we've talked about them. I think one thing that's helped is we've done quite a bit of research on what is the recurrence rate. And we've also done a lot of research on why we think our specific experience was the way that it was. And I feel like we know a lot of good things now, so that if we ever decided to have a third, we would set ourselves up for success to not have another episode of psychosis. Not saying we're having another.
Mm-hmm.
That's still being not even debated. It's like one day one of us are like, yeah, maybe, and the other one's saying nope. And then the next day it's the exact same but flipped.
But do you feel like it's something you think about? As we've talked about, like, oh, should we ever have a third?
After looking at and understanding what I understand, it's not a piece of the equation in my mind.
Oh, really? For me, it for sure is.
Really?
I think before this experience, I was just like, you just have a baby. When like you want a baby, you just have it.
Yeah.
I think I'm much more like I would need certain conditions to be in place in order to feel confident deciding to have another child. Like I would, and I think that's just, I have a really high bar now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not just gonna, I feel like it, so I'm gonna create another human.
Yeah. I think what I feel the same way. What I'm saying is I'm confident in our ability to make those conditions happen. And the bigger variables for myself, at least in my mind, when I'm thinking about a third child, are more related to how much is it going to cost to have a third child over the lifespan, and how does that impact these two humans that we have right now that I have an awesome relationship with.
Oh yeah, we've talked a lot about this.
So like those types of things to me are they're the bigger rocks in this mental equation than, are we going to like have another postpartum psychotic episode? Because I'm confident in your and my ability to create a good scenario.
Knowing what we know now.
Yeah. So yes to everything you said, and other things are on top of mind.
Sure. If you could change one thing about the way systems respond to families dealing with postpartum psychosis, what would it be?
I would say like early education, I think is good. Like awareness, like I think it's more scary for someone to have an episode and be like, what the hell is this? And did I lose my best friend forever? Because that's where I landed. And like that uncertainty leads to a lot of anxiousness, a lot of concern, a lot of just like, whoa-ness, But if we would have had concrete preventive measures and whys as to why we should do each of those preventive things, I think it would help everyone who's planning on having a baby, even though the risks of them having a postpartum psychotic episode are so small. It would still help them in the whole postpartum recovery. It's like sleep. Don't just accept it like, sleep's going to be really crappy. create systems and habits and routines to optimize it. Don't just accept crappy sleep. I think when it comes to an ER visit like we had, I showed up. I don't really have a better way that they should have handled it, because I'm sure they do have people come in and they're like, hey, my spouse is nuts, help me out. And that spouse is like, my husband's a jerk. And they're like, we're not going to get into this. So like they have to like approach this a particular way.
Or an ER is dealing with all sorts
of stuff. So like, as much as I didn't love my experience there, I don't have a reasonable alternative. When it comes to them dropping off Truth Seeker, that's a huge problem. That's like unacceptable, and hospitals and medical professionals who are working inside of that type of an environment where you bring someone in off the street, they're agitated, don't put them in a room with another mentally unstable or agitated person with zero supervision. And like, maybe even more importantly, those departments, those people who are working in those environments, they need to get paid better, so that more people go into those positions, so that they have better resources, so that they can have a dedicated room to someone who's coming in agitated off
like
the street.
Would that be the security officers, do you mean? Or you mean like who would be the person getting better pay?
I mean, like, the whole hospital system, if it had more funding, they could better justify, this is how the logistics of the psychiatric intake of the ER work. We don't put all these people who are mentally unstable in one room without supervision, because we have the resources to give each one of them their own room.
Sure.
And like a dedicated nurse and things like that.
I hear what you're saying. 'Cause something I've thought about is how there are mother-baby specific resources.
That would be amazing.
In our, like, not so close to us, but like we're in the New York City area. Did that ever cross your mind? Or
I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay, me neither.
I didn't know that was a thing. I think if we decided to have a third, I think it'd be something that we could seriously take into consideration. And like,
what do you mean?
Like going in, like, I don't know exactly how it looks, but I understand it's like you go in all these mother baby units. Oh, you mean for the psych ward thing?
Yes.
Like a psych ward mother baby unit.
Mother baby specific stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought you were talking about like how we learned in Korea they have like these 3-month stays for mothers and...
Is it Korea or Japan?
Maybe it's both. But it's like they really treat their mothers as they're recovering. Why the hell do we not do that in the United States?
We don't.
Why don't we take better care of our mothers while they're recovering from something so intense?
And supporting fathers, right?
And supporting fathers, but it's different. I didn't push a baby out of my vagina.
Sure, but like in having paid leave and supporting the dad as a caregiver, as well as having better support for mom. I love the idea of like baby's here, mom is taking care of baby. Let's take care of mom.
Yeah.
How do we make sure mom, and like let's take care of dad? So like layers of who's taking care of whom and making sure that they have the support that they need.
I think it would be great if we could frame it as mom and dad are taking care of mom, and mom and dad are taking care of baby, and dad is taking care of dad and baby and mom. You know, like there's
another party. There's
another party.
There's extended family that's...
I think something that we could probably shift is we could be a little bit less individualistic and a little bit more collectivistic in terms of like probably everything, but especially in having babies. I feel like it's not often that you hear people living with their families for very long after a baby. We would never have asked your mom or my mom or our parents to come and stay with us for a month or two.
For a year or something.
Or a year or something like that.
Like,
and like there's a lot of reasons for that. But if we would have, it could have been really nice in some ways.
We didn't have the room for it.
We didn't have the room for it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a norm in many cultures, but not in ours.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. If you were able to give advice to a partner who's recently navigated postpartum psychosis, what would you say?
I would say reach out for support. Like I said earlier, like err on the side of more support than not. Like meet with a therapist. Get really clear on what your goal is of meeting with that therapist. If it's like, I just need to process this experience and know how to move on. Those would probably be the two main things. And from there, I think most other, like there'd be a lot of good things that would come from it.
Okay. Love you.
I love you. Grateful for you.
For you too.
All right, that's a wrap on this conversation with Scott. Sorry about the audio quality. Not used to recording with two people on one mic, but if that's ever a need, we will have some learnings. I'm going to link one of the systematic reviews that I was looking at as I prepared for this series. It's from 2023, and it reviewed 11 reports across 6 unique qualitative studies looking at the partner's experiences and perspectives. So some themes that surfaced are a sense of loss across many domains of their lives and the need for information and emotional support. So also touches on sort of discussion, looking forward in creating more opportunities for education for families about the realities of postpartum, and not in a scary way, but in an informed way, to know the spectrum of mood disorders that can happen in the postpartum period, including postpartum psychosis, so that dads can know what to watch for and how to help. Yeah. All right. Any questions or feedback, please reach out at mombreakspodcast@gmail.com. Love hearing feedback and reflections and or questions for the future. So thanks for listening. Be kind to your mind.